Welcome to Letting Go with Aloha. Today is a very exciting day. You're in for a treat. I am about to connect you with Kayroon Karrim. She's an insight coach all the way from South Africa. She brings a sparkle to women in midlife who feel the need to start again after life's challenges. So we'll hear more about that. She's the mother of 3 sons and 4 grandchildren, owner of Kayroons Coaching, where her passion is loving and serving people. Her background includes 25 years of HR recruitment. And let's meet Kayroon. Aloha, aloha.
Aloha. Hello, Karen. It's so wonderful to see you. And thank you so much for that lovely introduction. In fact, from now on, every time I go anywhere, I'm going to ask you to be doing the introductions. You've done a perfect job.
Thank you.
You're
Well, it was very
welcome.
easy and just, I think we have an ease and flow. I just recently met Kayroon and we seem to just have a natural connection, natural, just similarities with our passion, our mindset. And so Kayroon invited me to be one of her 100 coffee talks. Tell us what your inspiration was behind the coffee talks and what have you learned since starting it?
Thank you for that question. I think it's so important that, well, initially I thought that, with the whole digital isolation and people no longer connecting with each other, I found that so many people are actually very lonely and people are not speaking to each other anymore as they used to. People are not connecting anymore as they used to. And I thought, and I kept on thinking and wondering, what can I do to make a change? What can I do to make a difference? And to bring that, I call it the H to H, human to human connection.
I love it.
Yeah. I've always felt, and I know that, humans need other humans and they need connection to give more meaning to life. We feel useful and alive when we are with other people. I really don't think that we are meant to be alone. And nowadays you have so many, you watch something on television and you see an old elderly couple alone. Maybe the police are coming to check up and yeah, they're all alone. And I just felt, our purpose is really found in serving others, in chatting with others, in connecting with people. So after doing some evaluation for another coaching program that I'm on, they picked up that I have a very high emotional connection and a very high need to be connecting with humans. And I thought, wow, that feels so beautiful for me. That is something I really want to do. So I decided, well, humans have a basic need, we need food, we need water. When we are born, we need connection, we need people. And I thought, well, that's it. I am going to be having 100 cups of coffee with 100 people in 100 days. And
Wow.
connecting with all of the people so far. I mean, Karen, I met a lady through you. I met her in Italy.
Yes.
And it was so, yes, it was so wonderful because if you think, and we spoke about it, your timeline from mine is 12 hours, a
Mm-hmm.
difference of 12 hours. And yet, her and I are on exactly the same timeline. I thought, how wonderful that the universe got someone so far away to connect the two of us that are so close in time. We're on exactly the same timeline. So I say that we are filling each other's cups one sip at a time with human emotion.
That's
And
beautiful.
that has really been so beautiful for me. I've loved every moment. I've met people from so many different places. It's still work in progress. It goes slow sometimes, but it is still happening, and that is important. And I
So what do
thank
you want?
you for
Sorry.
allowing me to share that.
Oh, of course, of course. And anyone watching this interview, please contact Kayroon, because I think that's how connections are made, right? Sometimes it's just
Yes.
strangers who become that human connection is real. Is there, what's one similarity you find in, because you're meeting people globally? What do you think is
Yeah.
the one thing that we all share in common?
A lot of many of the people that I speak to are so thankful because many of them are saying, actually, it's so wonderful to meet you. And they all have this feeling just or need just to share how they're
Yes.
really feeling. And just to have somebody to speak to that is maybe not their family and friends, just somebody where they can really openly speak to about how they're really feeling, how they miss connection, how they would love to do, just sharing everything, whatever they want to in that 1 hour. I've had so many people saying, Kayroon, thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, I had one lady saying to me that, my life will never be the same. She says, Kayroon, just that 1 hour has had such a positive impact on me. My life will never be the same. And my heart melted.
Wow. And it shows the power of connection. I mean, you don't even need to
Yes,
know the person, but I think,
yes,
do you think it's the need, the human need to feel heard and understood without judgment, and being in a safe environment?
yes,
Because somehow when we, even when
absolutely.
we met, there's a trust that is built, and once you have that trust, do you feel people are more comfortable in sharing?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So I mean, within the time that we connect, it gives the other person an opportunity to just talk and just share. They feel comfortable, they feel safe, they feel unjudged. They have an opportunity to share anything, whether personal or business or whatever it is, as long as it's respectful.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very open mind and a very open heart. And it's so amazing that so many people feel happy to have that person that they can speak to. Because you see, sometimes when you are wanting to share something, maybe intimate or maybe just that you have an intention to open a business. Sometimes if it's maybe a good friend or a family member, they will go, no, now is not the right time. But they are doing it from maybe they're protecting you. And yeah, am
Mm-hmm.
I sitting as someone who really just wants to connect with another human, and I'm going, wow, tell me more about it. How does it make you feel every day when you get up knowing that you are fulfilling your purpose, that you are starting that? And what else? Because, even the human connection, people need humans to serve and to have their purpose. Their purpose is to serve humanity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's all about serving. It's all about, and even these 1 cup of coffee and 100 sips of coffee is still serving humanity with no expectation. There's no charge. It's just them bringing their precious time and me giving and bringing my precious time to a safe, closed environment where the two of us will just express and share in that moment. I mean, there was one lady who had a very different religious views
Mm-hmm.
and beliefs. And it was so wonderful because it was so enlightening. I knew nothing about that. And she shared something, and I was like, wow, that makes me feel so wonderful that I've had an opportunity to learn something from you today.
Which fills
So
their cup
it's
as well, right?
exactly because now I've given them an opportunity to share and teach me something. And like they say, when we give something to a beggar in the streets, or to a homeless person in the streets. We're giving them something with the connection. How are you? And we're giving them
Mm.
that something, whether it's bread or whether it's a blanket, whatever that is. And when they say thank you, we do not, or if they don't say thank you, we do not have to worry that they did not say thank you. We need to thank them for
Yes,
presenting themselves to us so that we can communicate or share that moment with them. How beautiful.
that is quite an insight because I think a lot of times people focus on, I've done this. Why am I not being thanked? But stay tuned for more. We're going to ask Kayroon to share the secret to connecting. Be back in a minute.
Yes. Okay.
Aloha. I'm Karen Gibson, a wife and mother of 2 adult daughters who wrote Mama's Gotta Let Go, How to Let Go Without Losing Your Sanity. I also founded Brain Builders, a private tutoring business in 1999, whose mission is to prepare students to succeed in and out of the classroom. As a certified neuro-linguistic practitioner, I help my clients rewire their brains to improve communication and problem-solving skills while overcoming limiting beliefs. I recently co-authored The Power to Rise Above along with 29 women across the globe. I founded Letting Go with Aloha in 2019, mentoring stressed parents to navigate their journey with peace instead of pain. In 2021, I wrote 100 parenting tips inspired by the pandemic, which started out as 100 parenting video tips on Instagram and TikTok. My mission is to be an important resource for parents so they can raise responsible, resilient, and resourceful children as they prepare for adulthood. Okay, so ready, Kayroon? What is the secret? I think all of us sometimes question on how do we connect? What if we say the wrong thing? What if we're judged, right? What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I believe that we all have something inside of us that we can share, and that is really just kindness from a pure heart, not to judge people, but to give of yourself freely. You know, I've always been someone who's been very open. I have a personality where I speak to people, I make friends easily. And you know, sometimes what people really want, it feels like medicine. It's a kind word, a shared silence, you know, and a listening ear. And even that is just like food to the soul. You know, just to listen to somebody and give of that time, because time is so precious to you. But sometimes some people, all they want is just to express what is on their heart. I have found that, you know, people look like this,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't know behind that how they are really feeling. So if you just spend 5 minutes or even just listening to how they or what they want to tell you, because that is a problem, is that if I say, how are you doing, Corden? And you go, I'm fine. But I go, how are you really doing? And look in my eyes and say, I look in your eyes and say, how are you feeling? Because how you're doing can be fine, but how are you feeling? And you know,
Mm.
sometimes when you say, how are you feeling? A person needs to think, and they will sit back and think, actually, how am I really feeling? There's a very big difference, but you need to be open to look at them. So, you know, like they say in a work environment or in a corporate environment, we're looking at our phones, and especially I call it the digital isolation during this
Mm.
digital time. We look at our phones and we look up and we go, hi, how are you? I'm fine. I'm fine. And you? But we're not even looking and making eye contact with people. So in South Africa, there's a word called Sani Bonani. Sani Bonani means I see you. It's
Wow.
very important to see the person, because you're looking into their eyes. Look into their eyes. Don't just look past or look at the hair and go, hi, nice hairstyle, and you're gone again.
I
See the
love it.
person. See the person. Ask them how are they feeling. Connect with the person. Be in that moment. That's another thing that's so important, is that awareness for that moment. Be aware and be mindful of the. Then people feel needed. They feel heard. They
Mm.
feel understood. They feel loved. All of that is important. You make them feel so special when you give them that moments of just seeing them. Sani Bonani.
Sani Bonani. I love it. And that just explains why people are feeling so special being part
Yes,
of the coffee talks, because you're
yes,
asking them, but the real
yes,
gift is that they're
yes,
being heard. They get to share,
yes,
because that is true. We always say, so how are you doing? And with that, fine, thank
yes,
you. But when you say, how are you
yes.
feeling? It does make the brain pause and you think about it.
Think
Like, how
about it.
am I feeling? And then when they
Yes,
feel that trust, don't you think they're more willing to share, like, you know what? I'm actually
yes,
not doing well.
yes, yes. And then they feel better to say, actually, I've been feeling really a little bit lonely for the past whatever, or I've just, sometimes through really just asking them, you find out that they might have lost somebody, or they might have had a huge problem with their car. Maybe they lost their employment. Maybe the company closed. But that is if you really connect with them, and then they will open up to you. But people will only open when they know that they can
Mhm.
sit with you now they trust you. You're right. They've opened up to you, and they will tell you whatever is weighing heavy on their shoulders or on their hearts. Now think of how wonderful that makes you feel, because it's not for your ego, but you were able to bring out something of a person, and maybe able to, just through that cup of coffee and age to age, be able to, just your presence made them feel better. What a beautiful thing. It's an energy exchange.
Energy exchange. I love it. And just healing. Both sides heal. And what you said earlier, it's like food to the
Yes,
soul, medicine to the soul. And we don't realize
yes,
how empowering that is.
yes,
And it's just a coffee talk. Like you said, there's no
yes,
charge, it's just your time. So
yes,
connecting with PQ, how Kayroon and I met, we're in this positive intelligence program. Can you
yes.
describe in like a briefly what is PQ to you, and how has it changed your perspective on just life in general?
I must say that working with the PQ program, and working towards my PQ coaching certification has been an eye opener for me, because the positive intelligence program is something that helps us take action daily steps to improve ourselves, to become better, to see things different, to understand how we can. It's really a game changer, how we can work on ourselves to become better people, to work on the positive mindset, to build those positive mindsets, to build all of those, and to work on all of the saboteurs, the things that prevent us from moving forward. And that, with the positive intelligence, for me, it has been something. I use it in my family. I don't force it upon anybody, but there's so many people that have said, Kayroon, I've seen a change in you. And I said to them, I invest in myself. And one of the things that I have noticed, that even in my daily interactions with myself, starting with myself first, has changed, using the PQ principles, working on building the sage in me, working on the empathy within me, and looking at all of the saboteurs. It's helped me such a great deal. My biggest saboteur has been the people pleaser, and
Same
has been the avoider. So
here. Mm.
You know, if you're a pleaser and you are an avoider, I mean, the two marry each other.
Yeah.
So the one you, like I say, it's like a dance of life, you know, where the two will have a waltz and decide, okay, I need you to support me in all of this. But it's so wonderful knowing that now, whenever my mind is ready or about to judge or to do, I'll the saboteur kicks in. I mean, the sage mind kicks in, and I'm quickly able to, and I love it because it has all of these, the PQ
The
teachings
rep,
about the
yeah, just
meditation
teach you
and
how
the
to be,
reps.
yeah.
Yes, and all of that that helps me. And that is something that I cannot do without it. And sometimes, if I'm really rushing, I think to myself, you know what? If I'm going to be 2 minutes late, it's 2 minutes that's adding to my life anyway. So it's really been a beautiful journey. And I've met so many people across the globe. I've met people who are using the program and they cannot stop raving about the positive impact it has had in their life. And that is something that has served me in many ways. And I'm not sorry that I joined. I'm over and I market it and I tell everybody about it all the time. And I say, just take it, just do the assessment at least,
Hmm,
just to
hmm.
find out about what it can do for you.
Well, I
It
guess,
helps families. It helps
mhm.
people. It builds relationships. It helps you within a work environment. It helps build better teams. They did a survey on the improvement, and there's huge statistics on the difference it makes, with the communication, with the relationship, with building the people in the sales, and also the way the leaders manage. It gives the leaders more confidence without feeling like they need to bully anyone. It changes
Mm,
people's perceptions. It really has an absolutely wonderful positive impact. And you know what else I really like? As Sherizad says, it helps the coaching or you to be coached at a root level.
yes.
So it's not like building a castle on sand. We go for coaching and coaching and coaching and see psychologists, but you don't even understand that you need to work on that first. So the root level, because remember that all of these saboteurs started when we were in self protection mode from the age of 3 years old, 4 years
Yes.
old, 5 years old. So these things grow up with us. And at this stage, as adults, they still want to be there telling us, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. Standing in our way, and all it's really doing is trying to protect us. But we don't need that anymore.
Wow,
So,
you
all
really
in
summed
all,
it
to
up so
answer your
well.
question is wonderful. Yeah.
Well, and it begins with awareness, right? I think a lot of us are just living our lives, like you said, we're on that quicksand, but you try all these different things. But if you don't have that
Yeah.
solid foundation and that
Yeah.
healing, it's the
Yeah.
understanding of why we are who we are today,
Yes.
right? And how that affects
Exactly.
us.
100%. Yes, absolutely.
Well,
I
this has
love
been
it.
fun. Okay, so I didn't usually I prep my guests, but I think this final question is what is one like mantra or just a phrase that you would recommend to someone who is in one of those dark places? Maybe they're not even ready to connect, but they can
Yes.
lean on a particular phrase or something that you rely on.
Yes, yes, yes. Something that I love, and I say it all the time, is nothing changes if nothing changes.
Ooh.
And nothing changes in your life if nothing changes. So, in other words, if you do something to change, you will get a change. And then the other thing I always like to say to people is that, you have two choices. You can either turn left or right. And it's a choice that you get to make. So I always say, take the right turn. Turn right to be right in your life and to move into the right path. But otherwise, if you do the same thing over and over and over, nothing is going to change if you don't make real change. So nothing changes if nothing changes.
I love that. Yeah, because then you become stuck, right? You're just
Exactly.
spinning your
Exactly.
wheels.
Yes, and then you become on autopilot and you stay on that. It's like a mouse on a reel, you're just
Yes,
going round and
yes.
round, but nothing is happening. So we have to make the choices in our lives for our change.
Wow,
And
beautiful.
it's what we want in life. As long as we know what we want, where we're going, and we go for it.
Those baby steps. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Karen. This has been so much fun. And who knows, maybe we'll do a part two because I really love the way you connect with people and you're making a difference with these 100 coffee talks. I love it. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, and we'll connect
Oh,
later.
thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Good night.
Take care. Bye.